Jason Lutz coming to you this week for Tools of the Week right here in the Lutz Wood Shop. Now, my tool of the week this week is an old woodworker's law, and that is measure twice, cut once. Now, in the woodworking world, absolutely critically important. You know, if you cut just a hair too little, your project could be worthless. I make a lot of pins. That's kind of what I do. It's my hobby, keeps me sane. But if I make this pin just a hair too short, then the ink doesn't retract. If I make it just a hair too long, the ink doesn't come out. So it really does matter that when I'm measuring these things that I measure twice, cut once. This particular wood that this pin is turned on is reclaimed wood from the old Memorial Stadium in Baltimore where the Baltimore Orioles played. This is a stadium that's been bulldozed down. There is no more wood. So if I ruin this piece of wood, effectively, it's worthless. So measure twice, cut once. Now, how does that kind of go into sales? I think it is really the whole be prepared for the sales call. You know, don't just, in the words of a friend of mine, don't just show up and throw up. Go into your sales call really measuring twice, doing all of your work, doing all of your prep, reviewing your prep over and over and over again, two times, three times, four times, making sure that you've really stacked the deck in your favor. That when you make it into the sales presentation, you've done so much prep for the sales call, whether it is a very large elephant hunting, sales presentation where you're going after a big project or a big win, or it's just your day-to-day, small residential or, a house or whatever you're selling in your industries. It's being prepared. Now, I actually think today it's so easy to be prepared versus years and years ago. Years ago we would, you could get the Dun & Bradstreet book, which was a huge book. You could look through it. Hopefully your customer was in there. You could learn about him or her a little bit. Phone book, you could do some research on. You could tend to find out a little bit about your customer, but not much. It really made the sales process harder. You had to sit down, ask a lot of great open-ended questions, and then stop talking and let the customer really tell you what he or she wanted. Really back to the sales tool of the week a couple weeks ago, sell the John Deere. Listen to what the customer wants. Today, however, we really have made it super easy. With internet, with Google, with LinkedIn, you can do so much prep for the sales call that when you get there, you know as much about the customer that he or she knows. You may even know more about him or her. A lot of times companies tend to be siloed, where you have the ability to get in and look at everything, on the interweb. If I work in one department, I may not know what's going on in another department. Connect with all of your prospects. That falls under the measure twice, cut once. If you connect with your prospects, excuse me, before you get out there, you show up at a sales call, you've never met that prospect. They think they know you because you're already connected with them on LinkedIn. So tool of the week this week, measure twice, cut once. Be extremely prepared. When you think you're all prepared, prepare a little bit more. When you put together a follow-up email quote for that customer and an email thank you, read the email twice. Make sure that you didn't have any misspellings. Make sure that something maybe it sounded right in your head, but when you read it the second time, it made no sense. It happens to me all the time. If you're in leadership and you're frustrated with an employee or you're frustrated with another part of the business, it happens. We're not perfect. We are humans. Read those emails twice before you hit the send button. I actually like to read them twice, wait overnight, and read them 2 more times in the morning. All of of that aligns with measure twice, cut once. Everybody have a great week. Go out, enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, and then go sell something.